All right, so we're live. So welcome again to the Health and Government Operations Committee, and we just had a hearing on House Bill 1301 and Senate Bill 974. We're going to take on these two bills. They're titled State-Owned Nursing Homes Deficiencies, Citations, and Fines, Contractor Reporting Requirements. Lisa, if you could, is it Lisa? Or if you can explain the bill, what they both do, both bills, 1301 and 974, and then I'll entertain a motion, and then we'll have a discussion, okay?
House Bill 1301 and its cross-bill, Senate Bill 974, are emergency bills that require a contractor operating a state-owned nursing home to promptly provide notice of a deficiency or enforcement action by the Federal Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services or the State Office of Healthcare Quality to the Governor, the Maryland Health Department, and members of the relevant legislative district. The report will also come back to HGO and Finance. Within 30 days after receiving a citation or fine, the contractor must also provide specified entities with a statement of the deficiencies found by the monitoring agency, a plan of correction, and all communications from the monitoring agency regarding survey activities conducted at the nursing home. By January 1st, 2024, and annually thereafter, MDH must report to the Governor and the General Assembly on all federal and state survey activities conducted and enforcement actions imposed during the immediately preceding 12-month period at each state-owned nursing home that is operated by a contractor. There are no amendments.
Okay, we're going to open it up for discussion now. No amendment on the bills. Delegate Hill, move the bill. Okay, I see that Delegate Kaiser has a question. This is now the discussion part of this proceeding.
Well, thank you. Less of a question. I originally had the same concern as my colleague sitting across from me when I was listening to the hearing, worrying about, the tree falling in the forest, none of us hearing it. But I was convinced and took my light off during the hearing when I heard him indicate that someone was being informed, but not enough people were being informed. So I do think this bill will be a great first step in solving this problem and maybe in the future for other places as well. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Delegate Taveras, followed by Hill.
Thank you. Just to also co-sign on what Delegate Kaiser just said, I think that while this is a first step, I do think that we do, and on what, we do need to look at the full picture of deficiencies within the state-owned facilities. But at the same time, I do think that we need to look at making sure that these individuals that are committing these atrocities are not able to jump around from location to location. And is there a registry of these individuals that already exists to make sure that they don't continue to practice neglect or other types of violations?
Thank you. That's something good to work on in the interim. Thank you. Yep. I'm going to, and when we're done, I'm going to put together a small work group, but there's something else that I want you to work on as well that I've been thinking about. Delegate Hill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And actually, I guess you were channeling through me, or I was channeling through you. So to Delegate Morgan's point during the hearing, and frankly, the Vice Chair, I trust that, our Chair and our Vice Chair completely understand that it's not just a matter of some of us or one of us coming back with the bills, that we really, hopefully over the summer, would have a group to look at not just what's wrong, but what is the enforcement levers that the departments overseeing these entities have, and do they have the levers that they need to correct and deter. It reminds me of the bill hearing we had on liquidated damages, where we have contracts that say if contractors don't follow through, they owe us something in return, but we don't enforce them, right? It reminds me of the hearing we had some time ago about hospitals closing in our communities and are not having notice, and then when we could have notice, we had no authority to do anything about it. And it reminds me of investigations we've done with the facilities taking care of our severely disabled folks, the 5 to 10 people in our state. And again, we found out even with notice, we didn't have the ability to really make a difference. So whether it's a registry something we're doing now with police accountability, where we're saying that if, they've been found guilty of certain kinds of offenses, they can't just move to another jurisdiction and work, whether it's a licensing piece. I think that I'm pleased that the chair is seriously looking at taking the time to look at multiple components of how we can make sure that our agencies can do the oversight that we want them to do. Thank you.
Thank you. So I am going to call now on, I saw Delegate Robin Lewis and then Delegate Bandari.
Thank you, Madam
My
Chair.
pleasure.
I'd like to reassure my colleagues on HGO that we have already moved legislation this year that will build more of the foundation for monitoring nursing homes. I couldn't recall the bill number just now. Council might be able to help. But we moved a bill that changes the process through which the state makes decisions about entities wishing to open nursing homes. It was a bill that increases the scrutiny on applicants for a certificate of need. And what we did in that bill was give the OHQC and the Maryland Health Care Commission the power to look at the history of entities wishing to open nursing homes, to look at their behavior in other states and their behavior in this state, to determine whether or not that, they've been bad actors, et cetera, and to use that information in the decision-making for issuing certificates of need. So forgive me for not remembering the bill number. I was actually floor leader on that bill. I can't remember the bill number, but I'm proud to say we've already been thinking about it. And this is a reminder for us, as busy as we are, we're doing 1,000 things, we're moving 1,000 bills. Some of what we're doing actually is coming together, and we should feel good about that. Thank you,
Did it
Madam
pass
Chair.
the Senate?
I can't remember the bill number, so I can't even search. Does nobody?
I didn't think you had to deal with
Six,
certificate of
one
need.
sec,
It was
611? Is that House Bill 611? Okay, so Delegate Bandari, that's a separate one. That's a separate one. Senator Delegate Bandari, you're next.
Yep.
1 second.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, it's
Let's
like,
listen.
yeah, during the COVID, we have heard a lot of these issues, basically the quality of care to nursing home residents, and my hope is that at least this bill can improve a little bit communication between stakeholders. That was the biggest issues. Thank you.
It was 702.
702, and what is the status?
Delegate Kerr's bill. It's on the governor's desk.
On the governor's desk? Okay. All right, way to go, Ken Care. He cares. All right, so I have an idea later on that I'll discuss after the vote. Delegate Hill.
Just one last thing, and maybe Delegate Kerr can correct me, and the floor leader, Delegate Lewis. I thought the limitation on that bill was they could look at that stuff, but a procurement issue, it didn't require that stuff to be taken into account with the folks who actually wrote the contract. So okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
It's okay, go
May I be
ahead.
recognized? Thank
It's
you,
all
Madam
right,
Chair.
it's almost the end. We're a little flexible now. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. That's a really good point that you recognize, Delegate Hill, which is it's not enough to gather the information and review whether or not an entity seeking a certificate of need is a bad actor. It's not enough to gather the information. The bill that we passed requires the Maryland Department of Health to use that information in making their determination. So we've really given the Health Department some teeth to do something, to say yay or nay. And so I think we did well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And we're going to get the 3 lawyers that are amazing, the staff, our committee. They actually, I'm not saying that because they're here, because they've done such great work. They actually put together a end of session report for HGO. And every committee, for those of you that are new, does it. So if you have a friend in another committee, make sure you get their report. And you can claim it, especially if you voted for it. And you're going to see the work done by this committee in there, because you're right, we're moving and we forget. But they'll have that done, and that probably bill will be on there as well. But going back to the bill at hand, any more questions or concerns regarding the bill from anyone? Seeing none, the bill does not, both bills do not have amendments. Let's vote on the House bill first, which is House Bill 1301. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Seeing none, who does not want to be on the bill? Oh, there are no amendments, sorry, wishful thinking. All right, seeing none, the bill passes. Let's go to Senate Bill 974, is the same bill, no amendments. Bill has been moved in second. Any questions or concern? And I am going to infer that the same concerns and comments apply to this bill as well. They have been discussed. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposition to Senate Bill 974? Seeing none, both House Bill 1301 and Senate Bill 974 passed. Okay? Yes, Delegate Morgan.
I know it's not amended, but the entire Senate's on the Senate bill.
Yeah, but we can put it on. Okay. What does it say?
Slow it up.
Like, how much does it slow it up? Hold on a minute, guys. How long? Oh, well, if we do it, it slows it down.
It's not gonna pass probably anyway.
Well, hold on a minute.
No, the Senate bill is gonna pass because it's favorable. We can't amend, we're not amending that. So, I mean, you know,
The House bill's not.
If we do the House bill, we'll not get through.
but it might not anyway.
It's, oh, that's right. It's probably not gonna get across because it has to go through Senate rule and all of that. You wanna amend it? You guys wanna go on? Okay. Sorry, Lisa, this is the first one we do this year. Let's just do it. No? You want us to let it go? All right, okay. We're gonna let it go. We're gonna let it go. For the record, everyone wanted to be amended onto it. Everyone supports it, and the vote is unanimous. Michelle, 1 second.
For the record, the amendment office works very, 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 very hard for us, and we do not want to add more work, especially during this time.
You have the last word
We
because
are
you
thankful.
earned it. Go ahead. Okay, we are fine. We're fine. Delegate Martinez.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick question on process. So the House bill still has to go back to Senate rules?
It does.
Is it getting out of rules?
I don't know.
But we're passing the Senate bill.
The Senate bill will. It will make it.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
It will make it. Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, I want to, go ahead. All right, we have one concurrence. Can we just hold tightly? All right, go ahead, Lindsay.
This is for House Bill 817, that's State Government Regulation Procedures in the Maryland Register. The amendments are the same that we put on Senate Bill 649, and that passed the House 134-0.
Move to concurrent.
Okay, it's been moved. It's been second. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposition? Seeing none, we concur. Anything else? Anyone else? All right, so this is what I wanted to bring up, if I may. We have a couple of, excuse me 1 minute. Thank you. We have a couple of work groups that I have given to Michelle to start keeping track of for the interim. I have like probably 4 already. And I want some of you to be part of it and to please commit to it. Another one that I'm going to add, and I'm going to give it to Michelle, is the one, I've been reading a lot lately. There have been in the Washington Post and other publications, a lot of story about the long-term care cost, for our seniors, that it's really horrific and people cannot afford it. And what a lot of these facilities are doing is that they're actually asking people to leave because they can't afford to be there. And I'd like to put together a work group without a bill in the interim for us to work with the library and with, organizations that are reputable and known that do this type of work, and some of the advocates and people in our community to look at possible solutions and for you to come up with maybe a bill or two dealing with that, because that is an issue, a big issue for our seniors that cannot afford it, okay? So if you're interested in a work group, what I want you to do is the following. Can you send an email to Michelle, CC me, and let me know that you have the time in the summer and in the fall to be part of a work group. I have about 5 that I'm putting together, okay? And I really would appreciate it if you would give me some of your time in the interim. You know, we don't always need a bill, and a lot of times these informal work groups, this is where we come up with great policy, and we work it out, all right? And then you'll get to lead it as well. So if you could do that, let me know. And I like that information from you in the next week, okay? And any questions regarding that? Anything else on your mind? No, there are about 5 of them. What I'll do is, I'm going to have Michelle put an email and send you what those are, and then you tell me what you're interested in. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Yes, Delegate Shalega.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've been following Delegate Bhandari's hospital wait time bill, which
Yeah.
is unfortunately not coming out of the Senate by all indications. I hope we can look at that issue. I mean, the fact that we're 50 out of 50, and I'm sure you have had friends and family complain to you about, their experience in the ER of late. So
I'll tell you something that I had not shared with you, but I'm going to share it. We found out, as you know, that bill came out of the House. It went to subcommittee. The Hospital Association did not complain. They have been great to work with, great partners. But on this bill, they didn't complain and say, we don't like it, right? We amended it. When they went to the Senate, and said, we like a letter, not a bill. All right? So when I found that out, I was a little bit disappointed and taken back about it. So I actually called we had a meeting with the Hospital Association, Vice Chair Collison. No, it's okay. Vice Chair Collison and I but thank you for looking out, had a meeting with them. And, they were very honest and transparent and said that they were the ones that requested a letter. So I said, we have the worst wait time. Everywhere you go in the country, this is an issue that comes up with Maryland having this horrible wait time and the worst. This is not an issue that you should police yourself because you're the ones involved. And we need legislation because both the House and the Senate care very much about this issue. Sometimes you do things without a bill, but this is not the issue that you do without a bill. Will you be so kind and go back to the Senate and let them know that you agree in the House, you want to keep your word, and this is an issue that has been elevated nationwide, and we need to give it the importance of a bill and the legislature oversight. Brian said that he would, and he went to the Senate and communicated with the Senate, and that is where it is. I am hopeful and praying that it does get out. I understand that they're working on it. So I'm not saying anything negative about the other house at all, but in this instance, it was the Hospital Association. And I said, since you did it, I need you to fix it. Because this is, as you stated, Delegate Shalega, a very important bill. Okay, and that is where it stands. So if you have any friends across the street and you can make some calls, that will be great, because I think the Hospital Association, they need help now. But they were the ones that did it. Okay? Thank you for bringing it up. I think we're done. All right? Thank you so much for everything, and thank you for bringing that up. I'm going to do it. All right, thank you very much. Have a great day. And it is 1:05. What time do we go back to the floor? 2:30. Go have lunch. Thank you. I'm going to take it.